Hi, I'm Ms. J. Welcome to my broke-ass kitchen, where we may be broke a pocket, but not a mind, spirit, or tummy. Today we're making pizza. I call it my tossed salad pizza. It's a really delicious recipe, and it's a Triple E recipe. Triple E because it's easy, enjoyable, and economical. Let's get started with a basic dough that I call my everything dough. First, we're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. If you're working with a toaster oven, 350 degrees. Set aside about a half a cup of flour for thickening and for kneading, and that we're going to use that when we get to the end of the recipe. Also, you can set aside a little oil, and that's going to be used for the same purpose. Next, you're going to get a big bowl. It should be fairly deep because we're going to let the dough rise in here. The first thing you're going to do is put in your dry ingredients. Dump in 4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and then take a fork and whisk them all together really well. Now we're going to work on our wet ingredients. You need 2 tablespoons of yeast, 4 tablespoons of oil, and 2 cups of warm water. The water should be baby bottle warm or slightly warmer. Test it on the inner part of your wrist. Don't want it to scald you, but you don't want it too cold. It's better a little warm than too cold. You can use either a 2 cup or you can put it in a bowl. If you have your 2 cup, you can first of all put in your yeast and your oil and then add your water to the cup and whisk it well so that the mixture gets mixed well. Once you get your wet mix all mixed together well, keep mixing, keep stirring it, and dump it right into the flour mixture. Once in there, start stirring that with a fork. Blend the mixture together thoroughly. Go to the bottom and come up and just turn it so that you make sure you get all your flour mixed in. Now we're going to prepare the dough for kneading. If it's a bit tacky and too sticky to touch, it's all sticking all over your fingers, this is where your extra flour comes in. Just start sprinkling it in little at a time and mixing it with your fork. Eventually it'll dry up some and you'll be able to start using your hand to push the dough down and start kneading. If you need a little more flour, you may need a little more than a half a cup. Just get a little more flour and keep going till you can touch it. Okay, we should be ready to knead now. You can either work your dough on a flat surface by taking it out of the bowl and laying it on a floured flat surface. Make sure you flour first. Or you can flour it a little more and start kneading it right in the bowl. If you haven't kneaded before, it's very simple. Just sprinkle flour as you go and take your knuckle and push gently on all different sides. Take your palm and kind of flip it a little and knead with your knuckle again. Knead very slowly in a meditative kind of way, gently. You're not trying to kill someone here. You're not taking out anger. You're just gently working the dough. After you get the dough in a state where it's kind of silky, doesn't have to be perfectly silky. You can have a little bit of airiness to it still. Once you get it to that state, I like to put a little oil on my hands, and that's where your extra oil comes in. Form it into a ball, set it in the bowl, and we're going to cover it. Once you've covered your bowl with a dish or a dish towel, find a nice warm place to set it. Setting the dough in a warm place will help it rise. It's just as important to put it in a warm place to rise as it is to get your water temperature right. Now we're going to let it rise. You get to take a break for a few minutes, about an hour. It takes it about an hour to rise. You want to check it once or twice in between though, because sometimes it might rise faster than you think, or your bowl might be a little more shallow than you expected, and you don't want to have a mess all over your counters. It'll be like the movie The Blob, and it'll be everywhere. Take it from me, you don't want it everywhere. Also, it'll make you lose you'll be losing some of your batter. Okay, now we're going to get down to business. We're going to turn this piece of dough into a real pizza, a tossed salad pizza. Okay, first thing you do is oil or flour your hands and punch down the dough once or twice, and just knead it once or twice to get the flour on it so you can handle it. Next thing you're going to do is turn it out onto a flat surface. Make sure you flour your surface first so the dough doesn't stick. And then, depending on the size oven you're using and the size pan you're going to use, you might use the regular oven or you might use a toaster oven. Depending on which oven you use, you're going to pick a pan size and you're going to divide your dough up to fit onto that pan. If you're using a full-size pan, a regular full pizza, you might want the whole dough, or you might want a fraction of it. It depends on how thick you want your crust. Keep in mind that your crust will increase in size as it cooks. It's going to rise some more. So you may have to experiment your first time to see how it comes out. But if you have a small pan, you could divide it into 4 and probably just use one of those fourths. Once you decide what size pan you're using, oil it. Then take your ball of pizza dough that you've got cut and put it into the pan and stretch it to all the sides of the pan using your fingertips. Be careful not to rip the dough. Just push to the sides until it reaches the sides. If you want a thinner crust or a regular size crust, then you're ready for the next step. You can just wait and go to the next step. Or if you want a thick crust, which I prefer, if you want a really thick crust around the edge, then take another piece of dough and make a rope out of it. Just roll it on the floured top on your floured counter and roll it into a long rope and gently pick it up and lace it around the edge of the pan, being careful because it'll stick right away, and then you'll have to keep ripping it up and patching. So lay it carefully around the edge till it meets the other side. Give it a little pinch and you're ready for the next step. When you get your dough all set, I like to pre-bake it. Just get it lightly browned. I do this because sometimes you take it out and it's not as cooked as thoroughly as you think. So this way I just make sure that I have a nice done crust. So I prefer, you don't have to, you can do it, try it the other way without baking it. But I like to pre-bake my dough just a little while, just till it's a light brown. And then you take it out and we're going to dress it up. Now while our dough is browning, we're going to work on our namesake topping, the tossed salad topping. Make sure you keep your eye on your dough while you are doing this. You don't want it to overcook. You don't want to burn it anywhere. But what you're going to do is chop up anything that you want to go on top. On mine, I have onions, mushrooms, green peppers, zucchini, banana peppers. And for the meats, I have, what do I have? I have pepperoni and I have ground turkey sausage. When you get them all diced up to the size that you like, take them and put them all in a bowl and just mix them together. Toss them together as you would a tossed salad and mix them all in good so the flavors mix. It's nice because if you don't have a lot of one thing or a lot of any of it, you can mix them together well, and you make sure everybody gets a little bit of what's there. Shred your cheese if it's not already shredded and set that aside. Next, we're going to dress up the pizza and we're going to start with the sauce. Part of broke-ass cooking is using what you got in the house. I happen to have some spaghetti sauce that I really like. I don't have pizza sauce here right now, so I'm going to go with my spaghetti sauce. I'm going to spread my spaghetti sauce on generally. Put the sauce on as thick as you like or as thin. And the next topping will be the cheese. You'll spread your cheese on and get it nice and even. The next thing will be the tossed salad topping that you just stirred up. Once you get all that done, you're going to sprinkle a little bit of oil over the top of the vegetables and a little bit of garlic powder. Just sprinkle it right over the top, and a little bit of Italian seasonings. And it's ready to go in the oven. If you have a regular oven, you're going to stick it in there at 400 degrees and you're going to let it cook until the cheese is melted and the dough is even more of a golden brown. If it's in a toaster oven, the same thing, but you'll put it in at about 350 probably. When it comes out, while the crust is still hot, take a little butter, or if you want to add a little garlic powder to the butter, some garlic butter, and just rub it along the crust, and it just makes it look pretty and it tastes good too. Okay, it's ready. You can call everybody because it's time to eat. There you go. We just finished another Tripoli recipe from Ms. J's Kitchen. It's very easy, it's enjoyable, and it's economical. It meets all the criteria to be a Triple E recipe. Enjoy! Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you all again. For more of my Triple E recipes, like, comment, and subscribe.